conversion. There was a flag down on the play, and it will be holding against Cincinnati.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat third down.
Two things. If this score holds up, one, it's not good for Louisville. Louisville's trying to get to a BCS championship game, and they don't have a ranked team on their schedule. Cincinnati looked like they could be a team, but they won't be ranked after today. And then secondly, the AAC has had a very, very rough start to the season, with South Florida and Connecticut losing last week to FCS schools, and then a 2-10 team from last year, Illinois, handing it to Cincinnati today.
A laser beam thrown from Kay to McClung, and that will be good for first down. But you're right, not only, and it does go to show you, if you are what would be considered a lower level conference and you're trying to convince everyone, if you have an undefeated team to maybe get to a BCS game or get to the championship game, as Tico Powell slow to get up, and he's hobbling off with what looks like a left leg injury. You're rooting for your conference to win every possible game everywhere to boost your own resume.
As good as we think Teddy Bridgewater is, and as good as that Louisville team is, if they don't play a team that's ranked, the fact that they beat Florida in the Sugar Bowl last year is not going to be enough to have them go undefeated and get to the national championship game, in my opinion.
High throw, and Morrison stumbled. So that sails out of bounds. It'll be second down and 10. Now, in case, and we do not blame you if you are confused about who might be in the American Athletic Conference.
Used to be the Big East, right?
And Conference USA and several other conferences. UConn, Rutgers at least for one more season. Cincinnati, Louisville for one more season in there as well. One-handed catch there, reaching back is McKay. Gets out of bounds inside the 30, about 2.5 yards shy of the first down.
Well, yeah, you mentioned SMU out there. You know, they already have a loss. You start looking at those teams, you go, well, who can really go on a run and give the conference another team that's going to be worthy of discussion like Louisville?
Ball bobbled and dropped by McClung. Well, Louisville, or just across the board, the Big East was not really given much respect as a football conference. That's when they had Syracuse, Pitt, and West Virginia all as members of the conference. Now they have replaced those three schools with programs that aren't nearly historically as successful. And it's hard, if you're Louisville, to build up a resume off of playing in that league. Agreed. Fourth down and 2. The Bearcats obviously compelled to go for it. Cincinnati turns it over on downs as Mason Monheim finishes off Brendan Kay. 6:24 to go. The Illinois defense getting some support from the offense.
They've made the plays when they needed to, and that stop says it all. And taking
ESPN College Football presented by 5 Hour Energy. The biggest win in Tim Beckman's brief stay at Illinois. Only 6 minutes and 24 seconds away. As the Illini survived a bit of a scare from Cincinnati, but also a brutal injury to Bearcat quarterback Munchie Lego. A big storyline here in the second half. Donovan Young breaking tackles as a first down. Finally goes out of bounds near midfield. That was a hard-working run, but today's hardest-working player, brought to you by Polaris. And you have to feel good for Nathan Shieldhouse as he continues to flourish early in Bill Cubitt's offense.
Oh, yeah, he found the big play today. He had Ferguson early, comes back with a play action and gets Wilson for 6, and then for good measure, Hall for another 6. This young man has taken so much heat, blamed, criticized, abused the last couple seasons, and he's off to a great start this season.
Screen thrown to the edge to Barr. He's close to another first down. And I thought something we talked about earlier plays into Shieldhouse, but it certainly bears mentioning again with Bill Cuban. Passing the eye test, you would have thought that the physical advantage in this game would have belonged to the front seven of Cincinnati. But how about the play calling today of Illinois and how they have kept that group moving, almost like a boxer playing rope-a-dope, moving them around the ring and tiring them out.
Short passes, passes wide, then down the field deep. Got a running game going, play action. He had it all working. Mixed it up very, very well.
There's another screen, easily caught by Barr. And he's down to about the 23-yard line. Well, tonight, two of college football's most storied teams are under the lights in Ann Arbor. Maybe the final time for Notre Dame and Michigan. Brian Kelly's 14th-ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish will take on Brady Hoke's Wolverines. Number 14 against number 17 tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app.
Did you see what Brady Hoke said? He said if Johnny Manziel were on the Michigan team, he'd still be behind that guy, Devin Gardner.
That is some confidence in your quarterback, although that's not exactly something that Brady Hoke has to back up with his actions.
Nice soundbite, though.
Gets to the 20-yard line, and that'll take us inside of 4 minutes to go.
You know, if there was some doubt by Illinois about this offense because they put 7 Illinois last week, they're probably believers now. I mean, 500 yards of offense today. And if you spin it forward to next year, you say, well, Shieldhouse is going to be gone. Well, remember, they got Wes Lunt to transfer in from Oklahoma State, and he was a starting quarterback as a freshman there.
So Wes Lunt sitting out this season. And Aaron Bailey, who we've seen come in a Wildcat formation, true freshman 4-star recruit. He'll be battling it out with Wes Lunt for the starting quarterback job here next year. Getting popped in the middle was Donovan Young. Nick Temple came up and hit Young about 3 yards shy of a first down. But as you said, that's now coming up on 510 yards of total offense for Bill Cuban as the play caller.
An outstanding job, and this is a guy who's done a lot of excellent play calling in his career. Was the head coach at Western Michigan. Coached against Tim Beckman. Pretty gutsy move for Beckman to go hire someone that he was a competitor with to be his offensive coordinator.
Shieldhouse letting the play clock wind down as far as he can. Snaps it with 2, hands it to Young on 3rd down, right up the middle. And a first down inside the 10-yard line.
Look at this. Illinois pounding the rock, running the football right at teams. This is a team that couldn't do anything offensively last season. Now they're working on some swagger, getting some swagger, learning to finish a game, to really bury your opponent when you're up. A young team with some confidence. They're starting to buy in. They get Washington next week.
At Soldier Field.
That's a really good Washington team.
Well, it's an ambitious early schedule for Tim Beckman's team. As you've got Cincinnati that has routinely been either a conference champion or co-champion in the Big East. Here's Young, breaking tackle, spinning close to the He's in for another Illini touchdown. That's an exclamation point. 7-play, 68-yard touchdown drive for Illinois. Cincinnati's defense on their heels all day. They now trail 45-17. A reminder, a big game coming up at 4:30 Eastern, so only an hour away from kickoff between number 6 South Carolina and number 11 Georgia. College football presented by Cars.com today at 4:30 Eastern on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app.
I think I like Georgia.
You the response game for Georgia.
I think, you're never as good as your opening game, win or loss. Game 2 tells you a little bit, a good bounce back, and it's a must-win.
What do you think practice is like if you are Georgia the week after you lose on Saturday night?
You mean, and everybody rips your quarterback and they rip your defense and say your guys aren't good, your coach ought to be fired?
And you're going to be at home.
Yeah, I think they kind of circled the wagons.
We'll see coming up an hour from now. Chris Moore from 2 yards deep brings it out. He's driven back at the 20-yard line. Eaton Spence makes the tackle on special teams. As much of this story today, though, about Illinois and their response, this injury to Munchie Lego, a seemingly devastating left lower leg or knee injury as he was sandwiched by Tim Kennard and Houston Bates when this was still a football game. Cincinnati had the ball, down by 14 with a lot of time left, and he is now at a local hospital having x-rays taken as we speak.
Well, we certainly wish nothing but the best for him and hope that it gets better in a speedy recovery. Certainly it affected his team after he left.
Jose Williams brought down by Abe Just. But you start to spin it forward, not just for Cincinnati, but also for Illinois. Now it looks like it'll be Brendan Kay, obviously, the rest of the season, you would think, at quarterback. And a team that had a chance to beat 2 teams from the Big Ten in the same year for the first time since 1946. They had all the momentum off of a convincing 42-7 win last week over Purdue, but they lose their quarterback and are about to lose decisively as Jose Williams gets into the secondary, gets all the way to midfield before he's brought down. But they're about to lose decisively to a team that last year was 2-10 overall and 0-8 in the Big Ten. You got Northwestern State coming up next week, and then a MAC matchup with Miami, Ohio, and then you begin conference play at USF.
Yeah, with South Florida, Temple, and Connecticut. South Florida and Connecticut have struggled a bit, so you can see why a lot of Cincinnati fans thought, you win here, you get 8, 9 wins, get off to a start like that, and see what happens.
Now for Illinois, we talked about the ambitious early season scheduling. And scheduling Cincinnati, that's a good team to play at home. Now you've got a ranked team at Soldier Field next week. Miami, Ohio on their schedule as well, so they're a tough matchup in the MAC. And then their conference schedule starts with right now 4 ranked teams as things stand coming into this week, beginning in Lincoln on October 5th.
Well, this was a huge, huge win for Tim Beckman and Illinois. There's a player down.
That's Dominic Manello, the backup center, a former walk-on for Cincinnati, as it looks like they might be looking at his knee as well. If there's an injury inside of the final minute, it is a 10-second runoff, unless the team opts to use one of their timeouts to avoid the 10-second runoff, but Cincinnati obviously is not going to do that. So Manillo helped off the field, and what a start to this season for Nathan Shieldhouse. Back-to-back 300-yard passing games. The first time that's happened for an Illinois quarterback since Juice Williams did it back in 2008.
Well, his confidence has to be at an all-time high.
Speaking of which, that has to really feel good if you're Tim Beckman.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this breaks at least one of those 2 strings we talked about beginning the season, and he finally gets a win over a BCS AQ team.
Well, and there were some whispers, speculation about, well, could he survive this season? His athletic director kept saying, we just want to see progress. A game like this, pretty good progress.
Illinois fans will probably believe their eyes when they win in the Big Ten. But they're off to a 2-0 start, and Tommy Tuberville's team has to regroup. 45-17. Illinois decisively over Cincinnati. So we'll say so long from Champaign, Illinois. For Quinn Kesnick and Rod Gilmore, I'm Bob Wischusen, our entire crew. Sending things back to the studio. And let's check in with Quinn Enix.